going to be making a lamp today using a vase. So I've got this simple plain clear vase, and I've got a piece of cork that will go in the top there. And I've also got one of these light kits that you can get from Amazon that are for bottles, which come with these different attachments for different size bottle tops. So I've got that, and I've got these lovely starfish that the lovely Lou from Create and Bloom sent me. I've got a selection of shells and some oyster shell grit. So I'm going to start off by just giving the inside of this vase a good clean with some 99% alcohol. Make sure there's no fingerprints in there, no dust in there. Just going to give that a good clean. Right, I think that will be okay. So I'm just going to go and mix up some resin, and then we can get started. I've mixed up some Let's Resin Epoxy 1:1 resin, and I'm going to add to that the oyster shell grit. So this will be for the base of our beach theme lamp. So I didn't wash this, so I'm hoping it will stay looking nice and not go cloudy or anything. I think I'll put some more in there and then get that mixed in. I want it to be more of a sort of thick paste to go in the bottom. A little bit more, I think. Right, I think that would do. So I'm just going to carefully pour this into the bottom of the vase without it touching the sides. So I'm just going to dump that in there. Right, let's just be a bit careful here now. And then use my stick just to swish that around in the bottom. I think I need more shells in there. Right, let's just put this last bit that's in here in there really carefully. I don't want to get any resin on the edges of that vase. Right, that would do. And I think I'm just going to add some more of this grit into there because it's looking a bit runny still. And then just give that another little swoosh around, get that all coated. And there's going to be a few more layers going on top of this as well, so it won't matter really if they're not all completely coated, but I want to get most of them done. I think I need a bit more down on those edges there and a bit more down there. Just push those to the sides there. Right, okay, so let's just bring you down a little bit. So that's how it's looking at the moment. So I'm going to let that cure, and then we can do the next layer. This is all cured now, and I'm pleased with how that's looking. So the resin's brought out some lovely colours in there, so that's good. So next I've got all these little bits that I want to put in. So I think I'm going to glue that into that little shell, just so it makes it a little bit easier when it comes to putting it into the pot. So I'm just going to super glue that into there. Give that a quick blast with some freeze spray. Speed up that process. So that's that bit done. And I've picked out a lovely starfish from the pack that the lovely Lou from Create and Bloom sent me. And I've got a few shells here that I'm going to put in, and some of these little shells. So I'm going to use some of the Let's Resin UV resin and just put some of that down into that corner to start with. And then I'll place that down into there. And then see if I can cure that while I'm holding it. Should be able to cure all right. So get that stuck into there. Might need to do it from the top. Just give it a quick blast before I put the main lamp on it. So that's that bit. Because I want to anchor it down before I put another layer of resin in, so none of it floats. So I think that's okay for that one. And then the starfish I want to put at an angle up against the glass. So I'll try and get some of that down into that corner there. And then see if I can stand that up and rest it against the back of the glass. Come on, in you go. Right, okay, like that. So again, I'm just going to use the torch just to get in there and set that little bit in place. And then the same with that shell. I think I want to put it that way up. So same again, I'm just going to put some UV down into there. There we go, and then put that where I want it. Just turn him around, I think. Bit of a tight squeeze. Right, and then set that in. So I think before I do any more, I'm just going to give it a quick blast with the main lamp. So just going to pop that on the top there and pop that light on. So now that's all cured, I can start adding some of the smaller pieces, like the smaller shells. So I'm just going to pop some more UV down into there. Get that round where I can get it. And then I can place a couple of the other shells down in there. So that one there, I think. And then some of the smaller ones, I think we'll have one of those down in there. And then I think I just want to add some of these scattered around. So hopefully they'll land where the resin is. Oh, I don't think that one did, but once it's cured, I can just take out the ones that didn't set in place. Right, and then I'm just going to give those, oopsie daisies, give those a cure. So I think that's as many shells that I want to put in the bottom there. So that's all cured now. So next I'm just going to mix up some resin and then we can start doing the next layer. I've mixed up some of the Let's Resin epoxy resin, they're 1:1 resin. So that's ready, and I've tested out a couple of the blues from the Let's Resin alcohol ink range. I've got sapphire blue and blue. So that's the sapphire and that's the blue. So I think I'm going to start with the darker one at the bottom, and I'm just going to put in I think 2 drops to start with, and then mix that in. So I'm just going to thoroughly mix this in. I've not put this through the vacuum chamber or anything like that. I really don't mind, I don't think, if I get bubbles in here, because it's like a water beachy theme. I don't think the bubbles hurt in that case. So Right, let's just test that out on a piece of paper. Right, I think that can do with some more. So I think I'll put in another 2 and then mix that in and then test that out again. See, that's like near enough clear now. Right, let's just put 2 more in, or should I just put 1 more in? No, let's just do 1. I think I'm just going to do 1, be on the safe side. Right, I think that will do. And I'm not sure how much I'm going to put in, but I think I'll just see how it goes. So again, being really careful not to touch any of the sides. So just put in a layer of that in, because I still want to see through it and see those shells. Right, let's have a look. Right, okay, I think that'll be okay. And I'm just going to give that a little spritz with some 99% alcohol. And I'm going to leave this now to cure, but only till the stage where it's tacky. So I'm going to keep an eye on it for a little while and keep giving it a little poke. And once it's getting to that tacky stage, I'll pour the next layer. This is all cured up enough now, and I've mixed up the exact same amount of resin. There's 100 ml in there, and I'm going to use the same blue as I used before, but this time I am only going to put 2 drops in. Have I picked the right blue? Yes. Oh, I thought I'd used the wrong blue there. Actually, I'll put... No, I have used the wrong blue. It was that one, wasn't it? The sapphire blue. So 2 drops of that into there. Hopefully the other one shouldn't make that much difference. So I'm going to get that mixed in. And then we'll pour this layer. So again, not worried about the bubbles there. So I think that's mixed in okay. And I'm just going to pour that in. So that should give us a bit of a variation in colour. And because it's not deep pour resin, I can only do it so thick at a time. So that's that one. And again, I'm just going to give that a quick squirt with some 99% alcohol. Get that little squirt in there. And then we'll leave this to cure enough that it's gone tacky again. And then I'll see you back for the next layer. So this is all cured now, and I've mixed up some more resin, and this time I'm going to use the plain blue, and I think I'm just going to put 2 drops in there and then give that a mix, and then make that a nice light blue. So that will be fine for this layer. So same again, I'm just going to pour this in nice and carefully so it doesn't touch the sides. And there we go. And again, just going to give that a quick squirt with some 99% alcohol, and we're going to leave this one to cure. So I'll see you back in a little while. Actually, before I go, I think I'm going to add this shark to this layer. So I'm just going to use my tweezers and lower him into there. There we go. Right, Let's just get him in the position that I want him. There we go. Right, okay, so now we're just going to leave this to cure, and then I'll see you back in a little while. This is all cured now, and it's looking lovely from the top, but it's not looking so good from the front, unfortunately. I think what happened is the layers got too hot and cured too quickly. That's all I can think, and that it's separated from the glass and then left these strange lines going around the outside. But I think I've got a solution. So I'm going to use Liquitex Gloss Gel, and I'm just going to go around the outside of this where these marks are, doing some sort of wavy kind of patterns. And this will go on white, but it will dry clear. But it should leave a sort of frosted effect. So hopefully that's the plan. So just going to go all around this, and hopefully that will disguise it a bit. Do some bigger ones down the back here. So a few more there. And if it doesn't disguise it, we'll have to come up with a plan B. Right, so I think that would do. Just put a little bit more on there. Do I join them up? Yeah, I think I've joined them up actually. Let's just join them all up. Do it a bit lighter in those bits. There. A little bit in there. Right, okay. So I'm going to leave that to dry now. And then while that's drying, we can move on to the cork for the top. I cut out a piece of paper to the size of the cork, and I've just folded that both ways, and then used a pin and just popped that in there to find the center. So there's my center mark there. And now I'm just going to use my drill, and this is the same diameter as the bit that needs to go down the middle. So I'm just going to drill out a hole in that. So I'll just do this off camera, and then I'll come back when that's finished. So that's my hole done, and I'm just going to take off this bit here from the light fitting, and then that will fit into there. But before I put that in, I'm going to paint this, and I've got some of this chalk paint. It's by Johnson's, and it's what's it called? Teal Topaz. And this is the colour of my living room walls, so I thought I'd match the top of the cork with that colour. So while I'm just painting this, I'd just like to quickly say thank you ever so much to all my subscribers. Thank you to everyone that sent me a coffee and sent me a super thanks. I really do appreciate that. And any money that I do get from anything like that does go straight back into the channel, and it helps me to buy new products, to bring out new videos. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you ever so much. So I'm just going to finish off painting this, and I'll probably give it a couple of coats. So once this is done, I'll come back and then we can move on to the next bit. The cork's had a couple of layers of paint now, so that's all done. And the outside of here is still drying in places. So I want to put like another layer in here, but this time, a lot of you know that I live on a houseboat. So I thought it would be nice to have a bit of movement in this vase. So my next layer is going to be water. And I'm just going to add a drop of the blue Let's Resin alcohol ink into there. Let's do 1 drop. Let's see how that looks. Just going to give that a little mix in, just to tint that water a little bit. I think that'll be fine. So I'm just going to pour the water onto the top, and then I've got a little wine bottle here, so a little message in a bottle that can go in there, and then the cork can go on the top, so when my houseboat moves there will be some movement in there. So now to set the cork into place, I'm going to use some of the bonding UV resin, and I'm just going to sort of tack it into place first. Push that down as hard as I dare, and then just put some of that down into there, and then quickly cure that. Might help if I use the right end. There we go. So sealing that in place. So I'm just going to do this all the way round to start with, just using the bonding, and then once it's got a good seal I'll top it up with some UV. So you don't need to see me doing this all the way round, so I'll get this done and then I'll see you back in a minute. So now it's had a good seal all the way around using the bonding UV, I'm just going to use the normal clear hard type UV resin from Let's Resin, and I'm just going to go around and add a bit more all the way around here, just topping that up, making sure I've got everywhere. So just going to go around there. I think that's nearly, there we go, that would do. Just going to get my cigarette, well no, my long neck lighter, and just pop those bubbles, or maybe not because the cork. Let me just use a little pick here. I'm not too worried about the bubbles anyway, it'll add to it anyway, won't it, being water. Right, so I'm just going to cure that now, and then I'll be back for the next bit. This top bit is all sealed in now, and that's looking good, but although this has given like a nice look to the outside there, I'm still not entirely happy that you can still see those lines there. So I think I'm going to go for another plan B. So I'm going to use some of the Create and Bloom Flourish Paste in Caspian Sea. And this does need a good stir before you use it. So just going to give that a quick stir up. There we go. And I'm going to just pop some of that on my finger. I'll start at the back first. Just see how it looks. And I'm just going to go over those bits there with some of the Flourish Paste, and hopefully that will disguise it a bit more. I might be making a total mistake here, but it's worth a try, isn't it? So just add in a bit extra there, and I think I'll just do it where those marks are. So just doing that all the way around, bit on that bit. So I'm just going to let this dry now, and then I'll see you back in a minute and we'll see how this is looking. So that's all dry now, and I did actually go around with some of the snowflake in the flourish paste as well. So that's how it's looking around the outside. I think that's looking okay. So next we need to put the top bit on. So I'm just going to screw this bit into the top of the cork. Might need to do this on my lap actually because of the cord. So I'll get this put on and then I'll be back when that's done, because I'm just going to get in a tangle here. So that's the main bit of the lamp put on, and I've just took the cord to the back to where I want the back of the vase to be, or the lamp to be. So I'm just going to finish off putting I'll put the lampshade on off camera because it's going to be a bit hard to show that on camera. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end to see it all lit up with the lampshade on. Bye for now.